noticed that their 2020 model had a depreciation value of almost 50%, meaning if you were to buy that car, a good one, a good used one, right now you get it for half the price of what someone bought it for. Everyone have a different attitude and opinion about this topic we're about to get into, and it's understandable because it's a very sensitive topic. Whether cars are an investment or not, and whether you should buy one or not, and which option to choose from when acquiring a car, or which is actually our main topic, all that depends on one's perspectives and point of view. Now, those are a lot of questions and few answers, and many people don't know how to cope with those dilemmas. Does that mean you shouldn't buy one or get one or acquire one? Sort of saying. No, it basically means you have to be very careful when acquiring one, because if you get it wrong, and should you get it wrong, it can have some serious economical repercussions in the nearby future. That is basically what motivated me to do this video, because that's where most people go wrong, especially people who have cars as a necessity, because that's the only way they can commute to work, schools, and for that specific type of people, then having a car is a necessity. When you look at it in that perspective, then buying a car is not a bad thing, especially if it's a car in your financial reach. You don't want to buy a car that is going to put you 10 years back financially just because you're obsessed with that certain car. And when you finally get that car you were obsessed with, the satisfaction is only going to be temporary, just like most materialistic things. And that's why we have to remember that short-time gain can cause us long-time pain. I have endeavored to explain the basic fundamentals of acquiring a car in the simplest language possible. We have done different calculations for you, and we're going to do different comparisons and simple calculations for you to understand. Now let's dig into the topic. First option is buying a car flat out. If you have cash, it's not even a debate. Buying a car flat out is the best thing to do. Another tip to remember that will save you money at the dealership: when you are buying a car flat out, you should never let the dealership know you have the cash until all the negotiations are done and papers signed. So you have to negotiate like you are financing the car, and when the papers are signed, you can go ahead and pay the car flat out. Because remember, dealerships make more money on you when you are financing or leasing due to the added interests. So it's good to let them think you are financing the car, and make sure there is no early payment penalty in the contract you are signing. I'll go deeper into that topic in my upcoming videos on how you can save yourself a few bucks at the dealership. And remember, you are buying a top depreciating asset, so any penny saved is a penny worth saving. Our second option is car financing. The most common one. Car financing refers to the process of borrowing money to purchase a vehicle. It typically involves obtaining a loan from a financial institute or a car dealership and repaying the borrowed amount plus interest over a set period of time. In this option, it is important to compare interest rates, loan terms, and fees from different lenders to find the most suitable financing option for your needs. It is worth noting that taking on too much debt at a young age or at any age can have negative consequences in the long term. So it is important to borrow responsibly and consider other options such as budgeting and saving, and look for better options before taking on a car loan if possible. Let's take an example with this popular Toyota CHR. Its cash price is $54,930 US. Your initial deposit is $11,010 US, with a monthly installment of $603 US. for a duration period of 96 months, equivalent to 8 years. Total price with interest is $57,943 and this exactly car is what we're going to use in our leasing option and in comparison of these two. Our third option is car leasing. Car leasing is a form of vehicle financing where an individual can use a car for a specific period of time by making regular payments. It is essentially a long-term rental agreement with certain terms and conditions. In a car lease, the lessee, the person leasing the car, pays a monthly fee to the lessor, the leasing company or dealership, for the right to use the vehicle. The lease typically lasts for a fixed term, which is usually 2 to 4 years. During the leasing period, the lessee has the privilege of using the car but does not own it. The ownership of the vehicle remains with the lessor, the dealership. The lessee is responsible for maintaining the vehicle, paying for insurance, and adhering any mileage limitation and other conditions specified in the lease agreement. Car leasing often requires an upfront payment known as a down payment or initial payment, which is typically a percentage of the vehicle's market value. Additionally, the lessee may need to pay other fees such as acquisition fees, documentation fees, and security deposits. One of the main advantages of car leasing is that it allows individuals to drive a new or high-end vehicle without the commitment of buying it outright. It can be a suitable option for those who prefer to have a new car every few years. Now let's take an example using this Toyota CHR. If you are to lease this Toyota, your initial deposit will be $2,185 with a monthly payment of $647 for a duration period of 36 months, equivalent to 3 years. The total price of what you would have spent after 3 years is $25,496. That is a lot of money, especially knowing it's all burnt and you're not getting none of it back. It may seem insignificant for some people at the moment, but in reality that $647 can be robbing you of a comfortable financial situation in the future. Most people lease these expensive cars to look rich. That's what they think, but in reality those cars are either putting them in debt or keeping them broke. That amount at the moment may not seem large, but if you are going to pay it every month, it will eventually become large and take away some of your freedom. So you should always try to keep your automobile expenses at a low percentage of your income and don't try to spend as much as your income can handle. It's good to live life at the fullest, but let's be honest, materialistic things like that brand new car you want only brings short-time joy, and if you are buying it to impress others, then you are in for a rude awakening, if you know what I mean.
Look at that fake ass baller over there. He ain't got no money.
Let's do a 3 years comparison of these two options, the leasing and the financing one. As you can see on the screen, the price for our financing option after 96 months with interest is $57,943, which means you paid $313 interest at a 5.3% interest, which is a fair interest rate for a car if you ask me. And our leasing option after 3 years, you would have paid $25,496. That is almost half the price of a brand new. Notice that their 2020 model had a deep appreciation value of almost 50%, meaning if you were to buy that car, a good one, a good used one, right now you'll get it for half the price of what someone bought it for 3 years ago. In simpler terms, this 2023 Toyota CHR, if it's going to have the same depreciation level as the 2020 model, then after 3 years of leasing it, you would have paid its depreciation value and you have to return it to the dealership. What a wastage of money, innit? That is why when we talk about depreciating assets, cars are always on top of the list. And research shows that a car depreciates 8 to 12% as soon as it leaves the hands of the dealership. In simpler terms, that car, the brand new car that you want, it is going to be worth less than you paid for as soon as it leaves the dealership. Its worth will drop 8 to 12% less than what you just paid. One thing to remember, the decision you make when you are buying a car or leasing a car is a decision that is going to impact you financially in the future, whether in a negative way or a positive way. That will be up to you to determine. In my case, I don't buy new cars. I prefer buying a used car in a very good condition. In your case, whether you choose to delay gratification or not, that decision will be in your hand to determine.